Hello and welcome back to Spyro Season of Ice, in which we are going to be causing some mayhem. Well, no, we're going to be attempting to proceed to the Spring Fairy World. I say attempting, you'll see why. Hello, Bianca. We can advance now to a very nice place. The Spring Fairy home. But will all be as it seems, he said foreshadowingly. No, this isn't the Spring Fairy home. This is different. Here's a book. I wonder what this could be about. Sheep! Who I probably shouldn't have burned. What could be going on here? I wonder. This certainly isn't usual. You're not the Spring Fairies. Hello, Grendor. Aww. 2 heads isn't so bad. 2 heads are better than 1. Okay, so basically it's a case of running around until all the fireballs have been launched at you. And then you might have an opening to charge into him, which I will be trying to do as soon as the opportunity presents itself. Bam! Bam! Okay, and now he jumps up and tries to land on me. Bam! And then does the same thing, and we repeat the process until he is dead. This is the first and only one of only 2 boss fights in this entire game, which seems odd because but then I say it seems odd, but the Spyro games have never had a particular penchant for boss fights. There's only ever been a couple in each game, and it's usually against the main boss, sort of about midway through, which happens to be precisely where we are. Although charging into this bloke is going to get to be more difficult. Okay, well that's useful. Can we go find some sheep? There we go. Oh, so this game's even easier to beat. Okay. Well, I say that, there's still more fireballs being chucked at me. You can tell how close they are to exploding by how close the shadow of them is to the ground, which I think is very clever. So, for example, I need to whack him a couple more times. I think it's 5 hits total. Yeah, this is just a repetitious process. Whee! Okay, we are actually down to blue health, which is not ideal, but also not the worst thing in the world. Apparently whacking him like that doesn't work. It has to... Yeah, you can't flame him either, you have to actually charge into him, which I find seems to be the case with the most annoying enemies in these games. But whatever. Yay! He explodes! But for some reason comes back later. Whatever, we get a fairy. So that's Lisa, with a bit of a graphical screw up. Still, there are... He says the last of the fairies, there's still 47 of them buggers. How do I actually leave this level? Can I talk to you? Nope, just says you rescued Lisa. Okay. Well, it's very nice that I've rescued her, but it's not going to get me out of here. Ah, there that is, though. Right. So, to the Spring Fairy home, which we've not yet seen. Then we're going to collect the fairies and gems here, and in the next episode we'll move on to the Time Machine Lab, much more interesting part. This Spring Fairy home has absolutely bizarre background music. Flowers to burn here, by the way. You know, as a kid, I never actually reached this bit. I only ever got to the Winter Fairy home. I played it later on as a teenager, and I got to, as I said earlier, to about 96 fairies. But this was a mystery for me. It's very inviting, though. I think it's much nicer than the Winter Fairy home. I've always been a bit of a fan of spring. I think it's a nice time of year. Whoop. We're well, what's this? Maybe this is getting us to Getting us to the summer fairy home, which would be getting ahead of ourselves a little bit. Especially while there's still stuff to collect here. Gems, gems, gems. Ah, and a first fairy, whose name is Heidi. So, hello to any Heidis watching this. Right. I do actually know a Heidi now I think about it. Right, don't know how many gems there are here total, but they are not going to last long with me around. Spyro the gem hunting monster. And he is a monster, remember that, he is a dragon. I could go and do that Sparks level now, but no. Because I hate them, and they are usually the thing I leave till last. Right. More gems, another fairy. That was Julie. Woo, gems, gems, gems. And another thing to burn. There's probably a couple more of those to get. Oh, but the gems are all over the place. There's only 300 of them, I must be nearly done now. Whee! Especially when you're collecting like 20 at once, like I'm doing here. No complaints at all. I'll go get that third fairy in a second as well. But the gems are the most important part. I would flame that, but I think I'll get transported away and I just want to get the easy fairy for now. Right. So this is Tessa. And, well, if she likes the cold, she should go back to Winter Fairy Home. Interestingly, that's the first Time Machine Lab is the first one I'm going to be doing, and I actually don't have enough fairies to go in yet, despite having every fairy so far. But, screw the system. That's Twilight Bulb Factory, which is a weird level. Right. More gems! Gems everywhere! Gems. Gems, gems, gems. Oh, there's a fourth fairy. This is giving us no challenge at all. Merryweather. That's a nice name. If he wants to turn himself into a super smart Rhinoc, then he'd be of normal intelligence. Ha ha ha. Right. I think if we go along here, there's another thing to melt. To burn, even. Oh. Pow. No, that's not it. That's not all of them. Lots of different levels in this game. As in, planes of existence. It's nice to see. They didn't give up on trying to be 3D, because, I mean, Spyro the Dragon was a groundbreaking 3D game on the PlayStation 1, which previously had shit like Crash Bandicoot. Not admittedly that Crash Bandicoot is bad, but it's not, 3D in the same way that Spyro the Dragon and the other two were. I say the other two, I don't want to name the second game, because it had two names, and I know if I say one of them, it'll annoy everyone on one side, and vice versa. The two names for it were Spyro Gateway to Glimmer, as it was called in Europe, and Spyro 2 Ripto's Rage, as it was called everywhere else, and I cannot, for love nor money, discern why they decided to call it Gateway to Glimmer, which I personally think is a really stupid name. Woo, but gems make everything better. Especially when I've collected nearly all of them. Yeah, now I have collected all of them, and now I just need to find another flower to burn. Which I have. Woo! Ooh, Aqua Age Speedway. Does that mean we're going to get to breathe fire under the sea? Right, and we're done. So, that was a very short episode, but it contained a boss fight, and 6 fairies were collected, so I'm going to call that a win. In the next episode, we're going to be proceeding on to the Time Machine lab, where we'll probably die a lot. So, have fun. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.